Okay, we are on question number 7 on the day 2 section of the semester exam review. Identify H and K, then write the vertex and the axis of symmetry. What they're referring to with H and K is vertex form of the quadratic equation. Vertex form is y equals a times x minus h squared, the quantity squared there, plus k. These are all in that form. You're just picking out that number and that number. But notice that minus sign is part of the equation. So when I take out the h number, I want to keep in mind that the minus sign stays. So in short, when I take this out and label my h value, I have to change the sign from whatever is showing here, because that minus sign is part of the equation. But that 5 is actually a positive 5 as my h value. That's all that means. Okay, so let's go ahead and find the h values for all 3 of these. Okay, we'll do them all like that. So I'll look in my parentheses, that's my h value. Here, it's a 5. Here, see how it's a positive here? That means my h value is actually a negative 2. And here, knowing the minus is part of the equation, I know my h value is a positive 1. Okay? Why is that useful at all? Well, it's useful because this and this and this, those are the x value in my vertex for each one of these. That's why they call this vertex form. Okay, let's find the k value now. The k value involves no sign flipping because there's no negative sign in the equation, okay? So if I have a minus 1 here, that means my k is a minus 1 or negative 1. If I have a plus 3 here, it means I have a positive 3. What if I don't have a number? It means the k value is 0, okay? And the k value, as you probably guessed, is the y value of my vertex. Negative 1, 3, and 0. Remember from the previous video, the axis of symmetry is always x equals a number, not just any number. It's the x value from your vertex. So here, x equals 5. Here, x equals negative 2. And here, x equals 1. All right, so that's that section. The next section, identify the transformation that occurs to each function. Remember, the only tricky thing about these is, you got to remember, when you have stuff in the parentheses, a change going on in the parentheses, you're dealing with a horizontal change. It's going left or right. Okay, so parentheses is horizontal. If it is not in parentheses, like that, you describe the change as a vertical change. So if there's no parentheses, it's vertical. All right? Getting the actual change that happens is easy because you can graph both of these. Now we know this is the parent function, y equals x squared. So I'm going to go to y equals x squared. All right? That's my parent. That's where I start. Now I'm going to graph another one and see what happens. So y equals, I'm going to type in what I see, x plus 4 quantity squared. Okay, now the fact that it's in parentheses, I know it's a horizontal change. And obviously it is a horizontal change because it moved left, right? So I'm going to say it translated left 4 units. Translate left 4. That's it. We can just count it right here. If you turn on your grid lines, it's even easier to count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, number 11. I'm going to keep my parent function in the calculator, but I am going to change the red graph to the next one. Okay, so I have my parent function. My new one is x squared plus 8. X squared plus 8. Where'd it go? It's gone. No, it's not gone. It went up 8. And you can either zoom out or you can click, get your little hand, and drag, and there it is. And my grid lines are still on. I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It definitely moved up 8. So translate up 8. Just going to put an arrow, and you can too if you want. Translate up 8. Number 12. Again, I have my parent function as the first one. Here's the next one. I'll tell you right now what's going to happen. Since that's in parentheses, it's going to move left to right. But remember, as we saw a while ago, the parentheses work opposite of what you'd think. That's going to go left 3, and that works the way you would think. It's going to go down 2. I'll save you me going through every one of them in the calculator. If you were to graph it, you would see this go left 3 and down 2. All right. Number 13. This one's going to go right 9. And it's going to go down 4. These are all translations. You can write that every time, or you can just write this. This one, oh, we changed the A value this time. Okay, why don't we go ahead and put that in the calculator. Again, I already have my parent function. I'm not changing that. But I am going to change my second graph to y equals negative 1/2 x squared. I happen to know that that's the same thing as y equals negative 0.5 x squared, and since that's faster to type in, I will do that. What happened? Let's drag down so we can kind of see both of them. Now, two things happened. The negative sign made it reflect, right? It reflected across the x-axis. So that's a reflection. But that half also made it slightly wider. If you see, here it goes right at negative 1, 1, and here it goes a little bit past it, right? So the smaller value, smaller than 1 value, made it get wider. All right, number 15. We have 4x, all in parentheses, and that means it's a horizontal change. Oh, actually, you know what? I didn't talk about this in terms of change. It's not in parentheses, so it is a vertical change. How do you get wider by a vertical change? That is a vertical compression. When I compress it vertically, it smashes it wider like that. Okay? So I need to add that. Vertical compression. Okay? When I do this one, I'm not going to do the calculator. I'll save you the time. That's a bigger number in front. So it's going to get very, very skinny. But since it's in parentheses, we talk about it in terms of horizontal movement. How do you get skinny by a horizontal movement? You pull on it. It's a horizontal movement. How do you get skinny from a horizontal movement? You squish it. Okay? A horizontal compression makes it get skinny. So that is a horizontal compression. Okay? Again, we touched on this for about a week during the year, and then we reviewed it. It is a little tricky, and there won't be much on that on the final. Okay, next one. Let's do the next section on the next video.